Today we are going to discuss on bonding in covalent crystals. What are the properties of covalent crystals? Covalent crystals, as name suggests, it includes sharing of electrons. Bonding involves pairing of electrons between atoms. Actually, typically two electrons are involved in it. It possesses an antiparallel spin. It is highly directional too. Normally, the covalent bond is very strong. For example, it is the bond which couples the carbon atoms in diamond. This bond is itself responsible for the binding of silicon and germanium. Actually, it has two types of bonding orbitals. Two types of orbitals, bonding orbital and anti-bonding orbitals. Bonding orbital is like a symmetric orbital which has a minimum of energy at certain distance and it has lower energy than antisymmetric orbit. This type of orbital leads to a stable state of molecule. Other orbital is called antibonding orbital, which has a minimum energy at infinite separation of the atoms. We know spins of two electrons which participate in bonding are antiparallel. What is the reason behind this? It is due to the Pauli exclusion principle. Actually, it requires the total wave function of the system of electrons to be antisymmetric with respect to any interchange of the coordinates of two electrons. In the case of bonding state, orbital wave function is symmetric. Therefore, spin contribution has to be asymmetric, which means that spins are antiparallel. On the other hand, the spins are parallel for antibonding orbital, and here the Pauli's principle modifies the distribution of charge depending on spin orientation of electrons. This spin-dependent contribution to the Coulomb energy is called exchange interaction. Simplest example of covalent bond is hydrogen molecule. Let us discuss about it. As we know, neutral hydrogen has only one electron. An atom of hydrogen is attracted by rather strong forces to other two atoms, thus forming hydrogen bond with approximately bond energy of approximately 0.1 electron volt. Its molecular orbitals can be symmetric and asymmetric linear combinations of H1s orbitals. Bonding orbital is below that atomic energy level, and anti-bonding orbital is above the atomic energy level. Here bonding strength is maximum if bonding orbital is doubly occupied and anti-bonding orbital is empty. So here only partially occupied single atomic orbital is having an efficient type of bonding. Bond between two carbon atoms in diamond has cohesive energy of 7.3 electron volt with respect to separated neutral atoms. Bonding has strong directional properties too. Carbon has 4 valence electrons, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Its electronic configuration is like that. So it can form tetrahedral bonds with the nearest neighbors, resulting in diamond type structure. Actually, here carbon atom is positioned in the center of tetrahedron, neighboring carbon atoms being at the vertices of tetrahedron. Actually, the neighboring carbon atoms that surround the central carbon atom will be at the vertices of the tetrahedron. Since there are 4 bonds joining the central atom to its neighbors, each carbon atom surrounds itself by 8 valence electrons, which is a stable structure because the second shell is now completely full. Such a tetrahedral coordination is occurred for silicon and germanium, just like diamond. So this covalent bonding in diamond, silicon and germanium makes the bonding very strong. This is the simple arrangement of bonding in the case of diamond. As we said, a carbon atom makes covalent bonds with 4 other carbon atoms, and all carbon atoms are formed covalent bonds so that they have a full outer shell of electrons. Now we can discuss about the concept of hybrid orbit. Each carbon atom has as we said, each carbon atom has 4 electrons in the second shell, 2 2s electrons and 2 2p electrons, and the S states are spherically symmetric, whereas P states represent charge distributions lying along x, y and z coordinates. The energy difference between these states is not very big. We can now construct linear combinations of atomic orbitals like this. Psi1 is equal to 1 by 2 plus S plus Px plus Py plus Pz. Similarly, Px plus Py minus Pz. Px minus Py minus Pz. S minus Px minus Py minus Pz. The densities corresponding to these orbitals are oriented along tetrahedral directions. These orbitals is therefore a better representation of the electron states than the older concept of S, Px, Py, Pz orbits. The mixing of S and P state is referred to as sp hybridization. The sp actually the bonding here is sp3 hybridization, and the hybridization in the case of diamond. The sp3 hybridization occurs also in silicon and germanium. Next, move on to metallic bonding. We know about this type of bonding. Bonding is characterized by free electrons. Here we know metals have high electrical conductivity, and it has large number of electrons in a metal which are free to move. Electrons capable to move throughout the crystal are known as conduction electrons. Normally, valence electrons in atoms become the conduction electrons in solids. The main feature of metallic bonding is the lowering of the energy of valence electron in metal as compared to free atoms. According to Heisenberg uncertainty principle, the indefiniteness in coordinate and in the momentum are related to each other. We all know that delta x, delta p is less than or equal to h cut. So in a free atom, the valence electrons are restricted by a relatively small volume. Therefore, delta p is relatively large, which makes the kinetic energy of the valence electrons in a free atom large. In other words, in the crystalline state, the electrons are free to move throughout the whole crystal. Understood? Therefore, the kinetic energy of the electrons is greatly reduced, which leads to diminishing the total energy of the system. Actually, this mechanism is the source of metallic bonding. The negatively charged free electrons in a metal serve as a glue that holds positively charged ions together. Metallic bond is somewhat weaker than ionic and covalent bond that we discussed earlier. For instance, the melting temperature of metallic sodium is 400 degree, which is smaller than sodium chloride, which is an ionic bonding, and diamond, which is having a covalent bonding. So the cohesive energy in valence in metallic bonding is like the energy of valence electron, which is a reduced value compared to atoms. This cohesive energy is due to the interaction of nuclei with these conducting electrons. In transition metals like iron, nickel, cobalt, etc., the mechanism of metallic bonding is more complex. This is due to the fact that in addition to the s electrons, which behave like free electron, we have 3d electron which are more localized in the case of transition metals. Hence, d electrons tend to create covalent bonds with the nearest neighbors. The d electrons are normally strongly hybridized with s electron. Binding energy of alkali metal crystal is less than that of alkali halide crystal, where the bond is formed by conduction electrons is not very strong. Interatomic distances are large in alkali metal as the kinetic energy of conduction electrons is lower in large interatomic distances, which leads to weak binding. That is the reason for weak binding in alkali metals. Interatomic distances are large and therefore kinetic energy of the conduction electron is lower. So the free electrons are not free to move. The metals tend to crystallize in closely packed structures like FCC, HCC, BCC, etc. This figure depicts the different types of crystalline bonding. First one, van der Waals force, we can see. Second one, so ionic bonding. Third one, metallic bonding, and fourth one, covalent bonding. We can see the differences between the four types of bonding in crystals in this picture. Okay, thank you.